Hi students, this is Neeraj Bansal and today we are going to talk about differentiation. Right? If you have any doubts, as usual, you can contact me on the number given at. And next week I'll be trying to come for the live session. Right? So let's start. So first of all, we need to understand the term differentiation or derivative. From where it comes. What is the whole idea behind? Right. So let's take an example. This is point A. This is point B. Let's say this distance is 10 km and you take 1 hour to cover this distance. So your speed is 10 km per hour. You start here at 9 and you reach here at 10 a.m. So if I ask you what is the distance between A and B, that means between 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., you will simply tell me 10 km per hour. But if I ask you what is the difference between 9:35 to 9:40, what will you do? You will find the distance traveled between during this time and then divide it by the total time taken. But if I say 9:35 to 9:35, so what will you say? The time is zero, but nothing becomes zero. Actually, the difference between the time is very, very less. That this means what you actually are doing. If you're plotting the graph between distance and time, this is the gradient which is giving you the speed. So what you are doing is you are making, this is your, let's say, delta x and this is your delta y. So when you are shortening your delta x, that means you are making your delta x shorter, shorter and shorter such that delta x tends to 0. That means this distance is almost 0, right? And this is the change in y. So if the change in x is small, the change in y is also small. So if change in x is small, change in y is perfect. That we have understood. Now let's take an example. Let's say if I have a graph something like this. So at this point, let's say I'm x and fx. So if I move to this point, that means I've covered, so this is my delta x and this is my delta y. So I name this point, let's say this is h. So this point x becomes x plus h and y becomes f of x plus h, right? So if I want to find what is my gradient, so gradient is equal to f of x plus h minus fx over x plus h minus x, which will finally give me f of x plus h minus fx over h. So as this delta x becomes very small, that means as h tends to 0, I can write limit of f of x plus h minus fx over h as h tends to 0. This thing, this whole thing, this is called gradient function. So what do we mean by gradient function, right? So gradient function, basically if I'm saying this is my curve, so at every point your gradient is different, right? So you need some equation. So that means at x is equal to 2, my gradient will be something. At x is equal to 4, my gradient will be something. And at x is equal to 6, my gradient will be something. So basically, I need function which will give me the gradient. right? Perfect. So how do I find that? That function is called gradient function, and I find gradient function like this. Let's say my function is x squared, and I want to find, this means that this is my curve, and this curve will give me the, if I put the value of x, I'll get the value of y. So that means if I put x is equal to 2, my y, that means x squared is equal to 4. But at this point, there will be some gradient. So how will I find that gradient at this point? This is my main thing, which I will, this is my main target, which I'm going to achieve from here. So how do we do this? Let's do it. So limit, this is my way of finding the function. So f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Right. Now this will give me limit h tends to 0, f of x plus, that means x plus h whole squared minus x squared over h. So limit h tends to 0, x squared plus h squared plus 2xh minus x squared over h. This x square will cancel, and this will come limit h tends to 0, h times h plus 2x over h. So h cancels h. So limit h tends to 0, h plus 2x. Right. So as h tends to 0, h plus 2x tends to 2x. Therefore, my answer, that is limit f of x plus h minus fx over h as h tends to 0 is equal to 2x. So my gradient function is 2x. That means if I want to find the gradient at x is equal to 2, so my gradient will be 2 times 2, which is 4. Perfect. So this is the gradient function. This is just to understand, for your better understanding, what is the gradient and how do we find the gradient, or how do we find the dy by dx, because delta y by delta x is equal to dy by dx as delta x tends to 0. That means we call delta y by delta x as dy by dx when my delta x is very, very small. Very small means almost 0. That means my x is almost constant, right? So I hope this is clear up to here. In AHL, mostly the question doesn't come to find the derivative from the first principle. We have certain rules to find the differentiation. We know we have different types of functions. So let's say we have different types of function. What do we mean by different types of functions? Like we have power function. What is a power function? Like x squared, x cubed, x cubed plus 3, x4, like this. Second, we have exponential functions. We'll keep doing one by one. Then we have trigonometric functions. Then we have log functions. Then we have inverse trigonometric, right? These are some of the examples. So let's say first we talk about power function. So we have the formula I'm saying if x raised to the power n, y is equal to x raised to the power n. Got it? Then dy by dx is equal to d by dx of x raised to the power n is equal to nx n minus 1. This formula is given in the formula booklet, right? And then let's say if you have x, y is equal to k, that means it is a constant. So if I have y is equal to k as a constant, then what happens? My y is equal to k is a constant. So dy by dx is equal to d of k by dx is equal to 0. Which means what? That the differentiation of a constant is 0. What do we mean when we are saying this differentiation of a constant is 0? This means there is no change. So differentiation of a constant is 0. I want to find dy by dx. So this is like d by dx of x squared plus d by dx of k. This will give me 2x plus 0. So my answer is 2x. Now let's do some questions. So let's talk about what if my y is equal to x cubed plus x squared plus x, right? So d plus 2, let's take, understand it. So this will give me dy by dx is equal to 3x squared, that means n x n minus 1 plus 2x plus dx by dx is 1 plus 0. So this is one thing, but let's say that means the so my answer here is 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. So this is my answer, right? But let's say if I have the variable coming in front of the coefficient if I have the constant in front of the variable, that means let's say if my y is equal to 3x squared, so in that case what I need to do, I'll put dy by dx is equal to d by dx of 3x squared, which will give me, this 3 will come out of the differential, so it will become 3d by dx of x squared, which will give me 3 times 2x, which will give me 6x. Got it? Perfect. Then we talk about C. This is the power function. The main thing which we will always use are the 3 important rules. Chain rule. Number 2 is product rule. And number 3 is quotient rule. So what is a chain rule? Chain rule is, let's say I have x, c, m, f. Like it is mainly used for composite function. This is child, this is mother, and this is father. So if there is some change in child, that means let's say child has scored less marks, so mother got upset, right? That means change in mother came due to change in child. So I can write dm by dc, change in mother with respect to child. But let's say if the mother is not feeling good, then father will not feel good. So that means change in father with respect to mother, right? But ultimately the change in father came due to change in child. So if I want to find df by dc, then it will be df by dm times dm by dc. This thing is called chain rule. If I do 1 or 2 questions with you, then you will understand. I'll do a very simple question for you. Let's say if my y is equal to 2x minus 4 whole square. So what I need to do in this is always need to identify your t, because see, take this as t. That means 2x minus 4 is equal to t. Is this clear? Because if there is some change in x, there will be some change in t. If there is some change in t, there will be some change in y. I want to find change in y due to change in x. You need to practice more, obviously, with the calculus. And I'm trying my best to give you the concept and couple of questions so that you don't find any issues. So let's do d squared by dt times d of t, which is 2x minus 4 by dx. So the differentiation of this is 2t times differentiation of this is 2. So 4t, which will give me 4 times 2x minus, this is my answer. Let's do a couple more questions on the chain rule so that you will find it better. So in this case, let's talk about question A. Y is equal to x squared minus 2x whole 4. So first you need to decide what is your t. X squared minus 2x is equal to t. So y is equal to t raised to the power 4. So dy by dx is equal to dy by dt times dt by dx, which will give me what? D by dt of t4 times d by dx of x squared minus 2x. So this will give me 4t cubed times 2x minus 2. This will give me 8t cubed times x minus 1, right? I've taken 2 common as an outside. So 8 times x squared minus 2x whole cube times x minus 1. Basically what I did, I substituted the value of t in this equation and I've got this. Perfect. Right? Let's do one more question so that you understand it better. Let's do this B part. So y is equal to 4 over under root of 1 minus 2x. I can write it as y over 1 minus 2x whole half. So 4 times 1 minus 2x whole to negative half, right? So let's take 1 minus 2x as t. So 1 minus 2x is equal to t. So dy by dx is equal to dy by dt times dt by dx, which will give me 4 times dy by dt is negative half times 1 minus 2x times minus half minus 1 is minus 3 by 2, right? Times 1 minus 2x. So this will give me negative 2. So negative get cancelled, 2 get cancelled. So my ultimate answer, the final answer is 4 times 1 minus 2x whole to the power negative 3. Perfect. So this is my answer, right? So this is how the chain rule works. Obviously, yes, you have to do a little bit more practice. So when I'll go live, I'll give you the worksheet and you can contact me. I'll provide you with different worksheets which are as per IB curriculum, right? Then you'll understand. So I've explained you the concept of. So I'll just tell you one more thing, then we can do the division rule and product rule. like we have the formula differentiation of xn is nxn minus 1. So let's say if I have y is equal to sine x, so differentiation of sine x is cos x. I've just told you this in between so that this formula is given in the formula booklet anyhow. So I've just told you to make you understand the product rule and the division rule nicely. So first let's talk about the product rule. So what is a product rule? Let's say if I have my one function, let's say my one function is u is equal to x squared and my v is equal to sine x, right? So if I say my y is equal to u, that is product of two functions. So this becomes x squared sine x. I want to differentiate this. That means I want to find dy by dx. One more thing I want to tell you, that if you write dy by dx or y derivative or f derivative x, these three means the same thing. Got it? Because it's a shortcut. Y derivative. This is read as y derivative. This is read as f derivative x. And this, you know what this is called, dy by dx. So if I have y is equal to uv, then we have a fixed formula, u derivative v plus uv derivative. That means I need u derivative, I need v, I need u, and I need v derivative. So let's say if my u is x squared, so my u derivative will become 2x. If my v is sine x, my v derivative becomes cos x. So I just need to sub it in the formula. Again, this formula is given in the formula booklet. So y is equal to u derivative v. So y derivative is equal to u derivative v plus uv derivative. So I sub it in. U derivative is 2x and v is x squared plus, sorry, u derivative is x u derivative v. So 2x times v sine x plus u, that means x squared times cos x. So my final answer is 2x sine x plus x squared cos x. So this is my answer, right? This is my product rule, for which you can do various questions from the textbook, or as I've told you, I'll give you the worksheets once I'll live. So then again, the question is, next question I can give you is, let's say y is equal to x squared over sine x. So this means we can call x squared as u and sine x as v. So u derivative is equal to 2x and v derivative is equal to cos x. Perfect. Right. Now here you have the formula, like if y is equal to u over v, then y derivative is equal to u derivative v minus uv derivative over v square. This formula again is given in the formula booklet, right? So now I just need to sub it in. U derivative is 2x times v, which is sine x, minus uv derivative x squared cos x over v squared, so sine squared x. So this is my answer. Yes, you can simplify if you want to further simplify it, right? But if you, even if you write this much, unless specified that you have to bring it in certain form, that's fine. Clear? So if you are writing up to here, that's absolutely fine. I hope today's lecture is clear to you. In the next video, we will talk about the different types of functions, like the exponential functions or logarithmic functions or whatever. So please subscribe my channel.